And now I would love to introduce Mr. Nguyen. Thank you so much for joining us this evening to talk about the state of Northside.
All right. Thank you for having me, and thank you to all the members of our PTO, knowing that this is a different year, and I'm so excited that this group of members of PTO are leading us through this time. So thank you, Justina, Debbie, Kyle, Montana, Candace. We appreciate your work. As far as the state for Northside, I'm here at Northside in my office. So I'm trying to find some balance, and I think our teachers are too. We spent this summer thinking about what the school year would look like. So we were charged with thinking about in the most positive terms, like how we're going to come back face to face, how we do hybrid, and how to do fully virtual. So in the summer, we had to have those 3 plans in place. So it wasn't just one plan, it was those 3 plans because we didn't know which one. And then once we knew it was fully virtual, we stuck to the plan that we have. And I just want to put this out there. There was a committee and a team that brought on teachers and administrators from the district, across the district, trying to figure out and learn from what we did in the spring. And I know that the spring was more of a sink or swim type of situation. And I think that not only did our teachers swim, they were doing laps, right? Just I think that for what we were given, we were able to switch only after 2 weeks of doing fully virtual. So we brought some of that new learning onto our fully virtual right now. That being said, we also understand that it is a pandemic. So we're not saying that like we need to have from 7:30 or 7:45 to 2:30 of instruction, just because we're not going to try to recreate that, because that would be something that that is not possible in the event that we don't want that much screen time for our kids, 1. 2, we have to do a better job of the limited time that we have. It's intense instruction during that time, and trying to figure out the asynchronous time is like, what can they do to practice what they've learned, extend what they've learned, and hopefully transfer what they've learned. So that being said, we also have to know that our teachers also have kids too, and all those as well. So all those balances together to try to create the best learning for our kids. So what does that look like starting from the spring to now? In the spring, we rolled with it. We had, I don't know if you remember, we had an all-school virtual dance party that brought in probably about 380 some families to dance. And Mr. Nguyen doesn't dance, but I danced during that time. And it was really, really a great way to build that community. We had all-school yoga. We try to find different ways to do it virtually. And so we passed that on to the new school year, which we started this year with a virtual a virtual red carpet. So every student was welcomed into the classroom with a virtual red carpet, with me and some staff members welcoming you into the school. We had a book that every student had a chance to access, which is Only a Tree Knows How to Be a Tree, and I'll do a morning meeting about that book next week. I will continue provide morning meetings for each week, just to really talk to the kids about how to continue to be themselves and do their best work. The first week, we also had plans for dance parties and Zoom games, and also other activities that were planned. And then eventually we ended the week with an all-school yoga, which is now on the Facebook link, where we were able to show what it was that we're talking about. And then for the next week or so, we will also continue to do the work that we would have done if we were back at school, which is to build connection, relationship with kids, and getting to know each student. So just know that's just something that we would have done if it's virtual or we were face to face. And then we will pick up with the academics around reading groups, math groups, and synchronous learning. The whole idea is that we were given a parameter from 8 to 4 o'clock is instruction. And we use what the teachers know about your kids to create the schedule that fits best for the kids and the families, knowing that each classroom has about 20 or so students. So if they're spending half an hour on a one-on-one session with a student, know that they're going to try to also make sure that they get to all the students by the end of the week. So just that's the parameter of from 8 to 4 is the instruction. And then they are guaranteed with 7, either small group and one-on-one with the teacher, which is more than the spring. And as we get going and we know how the flow is, that's going to change so that it fits the needs of your child. Some might get more, some might get more with small groups, some might get more one-on-one, but know that that's part of the process of studying the kiddos and the classrooms, but the parameters are set for our teachers. As far as the state of our teachers, I think just similar to you all, they're trying to figure out the meaning of life during this time. They're trying to figure out how to stay safe and calm for their own families and for our students. I think the idea of keeping our students safe is, again, our cornerstone. That's what we will continue to do. And as far as engagement, that's something that we want to make sure that we continue to focus in on, because if this is going longer and longer, we got to make sure that our students show up and be engaged. And I think it will get harder if we don't think about some engagement activities or doing some fun things, knowing that every month we'll have an all-school event, an all-school activity for all the students, just so that they have a chance to see. We will still continue to do splash groups. And splash groups at our school is when we have an adult at Northside. We'll reach out to a group of students across each grade. So for example, like I would be with kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and so on. There'd be about 8 or 10 of us, and we come together to do some activities that the whole school is doing together, but separated out in splash groups. So splash groups will still be happening via virtual. I think the first month or so, I think that your splash group members or teachers will reach out to each student just to make sure that they know that, yep, they're still part of that splash group as part of something that we do here at Northside. And then as far as the first couple of weeks, again, we will have some formal assessments coming soon. Right now, it's just all informal assessments when they meet with your child one-on-one and small groups to see where they are as far as their interests and their reading as the year progresses. So as far as one participant asked about outdoor activities as an option. I think that part of that too is when we build a schedule with our teachers, that is something that we definitely need to put in there as the asynchronous, like just providing some of that time to like be built in there to go outside, just because we want to make sure that it is different, but it also is developmentally appropriate, right? Which is like to think that kids can be on for 5 or 6 hours on Zoom is not healthy. So kind of how do we build that in? And our teachers are thinking about that. So again, this first 2 weeks is just getting to know them. So that's part of that. And then that's also part of Encore and gym class and some of the activities that they are also getting from Encore teachers as well. So I want to answer that question directly. And then as far as like the state, we're all in it together. The message from me to our staff, and our staff is, we have a wonderful staff, is that we just ride the wave. Like we don't know where the wave is going, but I want to provide a surfboard, so something that they can like be on, so that we can ride that wave, because there's a lot of unknown. But there are certain things that we do know, which is that here at Northside, we keep with our vision and our mission, which is how do we empower students' thinking and curiosity in all of our subjects and topics. So